Hey guys, welcome back. In this section we're going to do the fun stuff. We're going to optimize the site for mobile devices using media queries because right now if you were to view this on a mobile device, this is what you would get. Okay, so this is horrible. This is unacceptable, so let's do something about this. For a tablet or a small tablet, it looks like it does take the sidebar off, but obviously this is pretty bad. So let's go to our CSS file, and all we need to do is go to the bottom of the file and start adding our media queries. So the first one I want to do is going to be basically for tablets. I want to do between 768 and 980 pixels. So let's create a comment just saying what this is. We'll say tablet slash iPads, and this is going to be for both portrait and landscape. Let's see, portrait. Okay, so how we do this is we need to just say at media only screen and then we want to put our minimum width, so min width is going to be 768 pixels. Then we want to get out of the parentheses and max width 960. Oh. And then we just want to open some curly braces. Now everything we put in here is going to be called if the screen is between 768 and 960. And you know what? We definitely forgot something important. In the HTML file we need to add a viewport, a meta viewport tag. And I don't know how I forgot that, but let's just add it now. So meta name equals viewport. So this is basically going to allow us to get the width of the device that the user's on. So content is going to equal, we'll say width is equal to device width. Alright, so that's all we need to do. And you can add extra things in here like initial scale. You can define if the user will be able to zoom in or scale it or whatever, but this will do just fine. We should also add in a character set. This isn't, you don't need to do this, but I like to. So meta char set is going to be UTF-8. And alright. And we should actually add that slash. Alright, so back to the CSS. So for the tablet, let's take a look and see what we need to do here. We'll put it somewhere in that range. Alright, so about here. Now this doesn't look too bad. You actually could leave it like this if you wanted, but for me I think the sidebars are a little too thin, so I'd rather see them wider. I'd rather see this content wider and then the sidebars underneath. So let's do that. Oh, and also, let's go back. We don't want this much room on the sides here, so we want to change that. So if you remember, our container in the base styling is 80%. So I'm going to bring this container to 95%. Alright, so we should be able to see this right away. If you look at the container width, you can See, now it's stretched out. And yeah, I guess you could keep it like this. Now the sidebar doesn't look too bad. But I'd still like to put them underneath. So let's go to what we want to do now is we want to do the logo. So main header, image, ID, logo. And if we look at it, I'd like to just put this in the middle. Make it a little bigger and put it in the middle. So let's see. We'll say margin is going to be auto. We want to display it as a block. And the width, we have it set to 45% now. I'm going to set it to 65%. So let's save that. And now it's bigger and it's in the middle. And if we make this bigger, you can see it goes back to our original styling. Once we hit that 960 mark, it gets bigger and it gets centered. Okay, so next thing, I want to make the content stretch all the way and get the sidebars below it. So we're going to say content overflow auto. Actually, we don't need that because we already have that up there. You don't need to redo any styling that is in the base styles. So we want to change the width to 100% and change the float to none. And we want to do pretty much the same thing with the sidebar. Okay, so if we save that, reload, now we have this one column layout. The sidebars are below it, but actually I don't know why it's still small. If we said it was 100%. Oh, sorry about that. That would help. Okay. Now you can see we do have a little margin here that we shouldn't. So let's see. Sidebar block, top right, bottom left. Alright, so the sidebar block has a margin, so let's take that off. So let's copy that, go down here, and the sidebar block will say margin left is equal to 0. Let's see if that fixes it. Yep, so now it says they're the same exact width. Alright, so that's a nice view for an iPad. And then here is, I guess, the smaller tablets. So we're going to set up another media rule. So let's go back. And I'm actually going to just copy this. And remember, you want to get out of the media rule if you're creating a new one, if you're breaking out. So make sure you're out of that last curly brace. Alright, so for this we're going to say, let's see, 569 to 767. And this is going to be for smaller tablets. So let's say container. Container is going to be 95. And let's just copy some of this. I'm going to get this logo. And what we want to change here, actually, you know what? We don't want to change. We don't even need to change the logo. We do want to change the navigation. So I'm going to go way up here and grab the navigation block. Put that in there. Now let's see. The height, we don't want to be 40%. Height is going to be auto. Border radius is the same. Border is going to be the same too. So I guess we didn't really need to copy that. But there's some other things we got to do here. For instance, we want to display it as a block. And we want to add overflow hidden. And we're going to set the width to 99%. Now we also got to style the UL and the LI. So let's see, UL. So here we're going to add some padding, and we're going to do some percentages. We're going to do 2% on the top and bottom and 1% on the left and right. And we want to align this in the center. And set the width to 98%. So next we're going to do the LI tags. And the LI tags are not going to be floated, so float none. We want a vertical menu. Display block. The margin right is going to be set to 0. It's going to have a width of 100%. And let's see, we want it. I'm going to put a light border on the bottom. So border bottom, say 1 pixel, solid, dolid, solid, and this is going to be A3293B. Okay. So now for the links. Margin bottom, 2 pixels, text align, center. Okay. And we just want to grab the active and the hover links. And just display block. I keep doing a V instead of a C. Okay, so let's save that, see what's going on. Now we have our vertical navigation. And remember, this rule was only from 569 and on, so if we go under 569, it's not applied. But we're going to get to that. Let's see. Now you can see we still have the sidebars here, so we need to remove them. We need to actually, let's just copy from content down to sidebar block. Copy that from our last media rule and paste it in here. Alright. Okay, that looks good. The logo should be in the middle and should be bigger. So let's actually copy that as well. Okay, so that looks good. Now we're getting to under 568, which is going to be our last rule, which will be any smartphone. And there's not going to be too much that we need to change from the small tablets to the smartphone. So I'm going to actually copy this entire thing and paste it. And we're going to change, let's change the comment, smartphones, and this is going to be 240 to 568. Container is going to be the same. The image, however, is going to be, we're going to move that, we're going to get that to 95. So let's change that. Alright, so let's take a look. Alright, so that looks good. Let's bring it down, make sure it's good all the way down to 240. Alright, so pretty much done here. The last thing that we want to do is add some CSS transitions, but I'm actually going to continue that in the next video. Because you can see if we resize it, those breakpoints, it just pops into place. And I mean, that's fine, but I mean, I'll just show you a way to make it look a little smoother. It's definitely not needed, but you know, some people might be picky and they'd like it to have a smooth transition. So it's not much code at all. So I will see you in the next section.